Hey, what's up guys? It's August 21st. Just put in on the Cashie River at the Windsor access. It's going to be a 15-mile paddle down to Sanssouci, something like that. I don't know how to pronounce it. I reserved a platform for the night. It's humid and the water is very flat, so it's going to be a workout, but it's already very beautiful. I just passed some tree houses, like legit tree houses on River Left up there. I don't know if you see those in the background or not, but as soon as I put in, I came across a little lizard on the water, hopped up on the boat, took a ride with me for a little bit. It's kind of neat. They're calling for a little bit of rain today. Well, a little chance of rain. I got a little sprinkle, but it went away quickly. But looking forward to this. Feels good to be back in the kayak. I missed it. So I've been on the water for about 20 minutes and it definitely looks like it's gonna rain. And I have a feeling it's not gonna be just a nice drizzle, but I could be wrong. I got shuttled upstream by a delightful gentleman named Captain Heber. I found him through, I just Googled, and it was Roanoke Outdoor Adventures. And he knew a lot about the river and the area. I'm assuming he'd grown up here. I didn't ask him, but he was telling me about the maritime history of this river and the Roanoke River, which is somewhere around here. But I always like to give a shout out, just so if folks decide they want to do some of these trips, they know some resources. I'll put a link to where I found him in the video description. It's starting to rain. So I just passed mile marker 6 on the river. Sorry, my sticky mount came off my kayak, so I have to hold the camera. So I just passed mile marker 6, and I looked at the map on my phone, and I guess I got put in a little bit upstream from where I had planned on putting in. So it's going to be a little bit more than 10 miles. So I'm gonna keep an eye on my pace because this is absolutely stagnant water. It's like paddling through a pond. It's beautiful, but I'm not getting any assistance from river flow. So I think what I'm gonna do is put in another hour or so paddling, stop for lunch. The vegetation around here is super thick, so finding somewhere to stop might be a bit of a challenge, but it is quite pretty. Very serene. I had a breeze earlier, it's gone, so it's pretty humid out. So I passed another mile marker a little ways back. Looks like I'm making about 2 miles an hour, which is just fine. Sometimes it takes me a little bit once I hit the water to get back onto paddling time, because it doesn't matter the pace I'm making. What matters is being able to be out here and enjoy the solitude. And speaking of which, I've not seen anyone on the water with the exception of one fella who was putting his kayak in when I was putting mine in. I spent some time trying to lose him because I don't like filming around people. But the river split, and I think we took different routes, and I've not seen him since. But in our short conversation that we had at the put-in, he was just putting in and paddling back, which is something you can do on this river. Paddle both ways. So I'm keeping my eye out right now for a place to pull over. I want to put some more sunscreen on and start hydrating my lunch. I think it said 45-minute cold soak, so probably getting to be about that time. Okay. All right. Yeah, I do believe that's a water moccasin. I don't want to mess with them. Ah! Man, look at the size of that guy. Okay. So I was going to pull over and use this log as a way to get out, but I'm sure there's better places downstream here. But fairly certain that was a water moccasin. You would think that as someone who spends as much time outside as I do, that I would be able to identify some of these things. But I don't. I know cottonmouth has a white mouth. I know spiders have 8 legs. That's about it. I enjoy them, and I'm not necessarily afraid of them. I respect their space for the most part, and I'm gonna respect his space now and find somewhere downstream. Came up on mile marker 9 here. Having a leisurely paddle down the river today. It's pretty chill. I've made several attempts to get out of the boat, stretch my legs, and grab that meal from the hatch, but every time I've see somewhere that I could get out, there's one of those snakes. So I'm glad I know they're there. I would not want to be surprised by one, but I'm just gonna keep on paddling. I could, figure out a way to just get in the hatch without getting out of the boat. It's a cold soaked meal, so worse, if I start getting hungry, that's what I'll do. But I'm fine right now, and I know my water filter's down in there, so quite frankly, I'd rather have water to drink than food to eat at this point. But not too much longer. A couple more hours, we'll be at camp. I was able to find a spot to pull over here on the river. I stretched my legs, grab lunch, my water filter, and my spork out of the dry storage of the kayak, and then continue making my way downriver. But it feels good. Stand up a little bit here. So this is what I got for lunch. Packet Gourmet Southwest corn and black bean salad. Just add 6 ounces of cool water. Press air from pouch, seal and lay flat. Steep for 60 minutes if using cool water. Flip package over occasionally. Stir in all dressing packets. Steep an additional 30 minutes for either temperature. So it's going to take an hour and a half. So lunch at 4. Decided to escape the wind and the sun for a second underneath these cypress trees here. In true Frecky Nux fashion, we are paddling straight into a headwind. It's making for a tough paddle, but it's beautiful. I can't remember the last time I've felt this remote. I don't know how remote I am right now, and I don't have, a ton of reference, but like paddling the Susquehanna, West Branch Susquehanna River in PA, that was the most remote section of water in Pennsylvania, and there was a railroad track that went down the entire length of it. But I haven't seen a single person. I can hear planes from time to time. I don't hear roads or traffic or anything like that. It's just nature, which is really, really rad. So I'm gonna, it's time to add the fixins to lunch. I've been stirring it every now and then. My shoulders are absolutely on fire right now. Stir in all dressing packets and steep for an additional 30 minutes. So I'm supposed to mix in, it has olive oil, malt vinegar, and Cholula hot sauce. So I mix all that stuff in, give it another 30 minutes. Figured I'd get off the main water there and pull to the side for a bit while I eat lunch. It's been steeping for quite some time. Man, it smells good. Unreal. Super good. I'm in dire need of these calories, so just passed mile 12 little while ago, so we're making progress. I still imagine it's going to be another 2 hours before I make camp. It's been a tough paddle, constant work. So finding camp will be just that much more rewarding. The water here is pretty tannic. You can see it's got a color to it. Tastes fine through the filter. It doesn't have a flavor or anything, so I would like to see how clear the water is post filter. Maybe I'll check that out later. But for now, I'm going to enjoy eating a really good rehydrated meal directly on the water. You can't beat this. This is really cool. Oh, this thing's really big. All right. I was really half tempted to not even bring a chair, only because both of the trio chairs that we own got holes in the corner, and it's not worth the frustration. I'm glad that I did decide to bring one though. And what I did late last night when I was packing up for this trip, I kind of cut a good corner off the other seat and shoved it in this. So I just cut a corner off the other seat. This is the one with the hole in it. You can kind of see the hole there. So I just shoved this in there. And it is my hope that it holds at least for one trip. Really, that's all I need it to hold for anyways, because I want to get new chairs. But I'm glad that I brought this, because that was an awful lot of work. And as far as I'm concerned, having chairs at camp is not a luxury thing. It's just not. It's not like luxury gear as far as I'm concerned. I think it's pretty necessary. So, let's see, this is the one that's bungled up. Fold this over. Let's see. Will he sit? Oh, yeah. Thank goodness. All right, so let's try it again. Okay. Fingers crossed. So, my first order of business is to get cleaned up, get into some dry shoes. I got these shoes a couple trips ago, and I haven't, I wanted to wear them a bit before giving my opinion. They're Adidas Climacool something or others, Terex. And they're nice. I mean, they have these drainage holes in the bottom, and they're all mesh. They've kept my feet relatively comfortable. However, at the beach, my little toes got rubbed raw. So I brought, house slippers, house sandals to change into. But yeah, that's my first order of business, is to cool down a little bit, dry off, change into some dry clothes, and spray myself with bug spray, because there's a lot of standing water around here. So I was hoping to be able to hang my hammock from these uprights. They have 4x4s. 3 sets of them. So 6 on the platform total, but they're not. A hammock would just rip them right out. So there's a tree right there and one over here that I'll hang my hammock from. This tree right over here, and it'll be a stretch, but it'll work. I don't think I'm going to bother hanging the tarp. It doesn't look like rain. They're not calling for rain. And if it starts raining tonight, I will hang it. But I'm not going to hang it ahead of time because it's just so muggy out. Just brought my pillow in this summer bag. Travel sack by REI. So should be just fine. I vegged out for a bit, laid in the hammock, watched some birds fly around. There was a bunch of hummingbirds around for a while. But it's about time for dinner. I got some beef stroganoff with noodles, Mountain House. I've not had this one before. I wasn't particularly in the mood for beef stroganoff, but I wanted to try it, so that's what we're gonna do. 2 cups boiling water. Whoa. And let it sit for 10 minutes. I'm glad that I brought, I haven't been eating a lot of dehydrated meals when I go camping. I really like to have a steak. And I'm glad that I decided to bring a dehydrated meal this time because there's nowhere to have a fire on this platform. I don't see fire pit or really anywhere around the platform to have a fire. I could use the little fire pit that I bought for my last trip, but this is just a lot easier, especially in this humidity. Well, there it goes. It's not the worst mountain house I've ever had. It's not the best. That packet gourmet I had earlier, it's hard to follow that. That was really, really good. 10 out of 10 would recommend. So, looks exactly like beef stroganoff. Well, an easy meal. I'm gonna finish my supper and enjoy the sounds of nature. I imagine there's going to be some frogs tonight. Loud frogs. But we'll see. Well, that's going to be about it for the night for me. It was a long day, a lot of paddling, a lot of sun. It was good. Still pretty humid out. It's supposed to go down to like 74 tonight. There's a 20% chance of rain. And I'm gonna gamble with the tarp. If it does rain, it's gonna be a real pain in the. It's gonna be a real pain to set the tarp up because of the deck, but 20% chance, right? Famous last words. So anyways, I hope you guys are all having a good night, doing whatever it is you're doing tonight. I'll catch you in the morning. Good morning. It started raining about 4 o'clock. Of course, it was quite comical. I went out and I got the tarp hung, and then as soon as I got back into the tent, it stopped raining. So I reached out and I pulled one, because I don't have the bottom of the tarp secured. I just have it hanging from the ridge line. So I reached out. Ooh, excuse me. Moved half the tarp to the other side so I get some breeze in here. Started raining again. So it's storming pretty good right now. I'm dry. Nothing's, even though it's stuff is touching the tarp, I'm not getting nothing's seeping through the tent or the hammock. So I guess I'm just gonna try to sleep this one out, see how long it lasts. So the rain has stopped. I really don't want to get out of the hammock. Very comfortable. But we have some paddling to do. So I'm going to make some quick work of packing up camp. We can see what the rest of the river has to give us. So yesterday when I got to camp, this whole little area was just it was like a swamp, and now it's like a pond. Water's come up, I don't know, 4 or 5 inches maybe, like a good bit, but it's much prettier this morning. Look at that. Wow. All right. Ah! Oh, it's just a daddy longlegger. All right. Skeg down, and we're rolling. I just passed mile marker 16. It's been a great paddle. There are signs of humans on this part of the river. Past some homes and some cottages. Haven't seen anyone or heard anyone. Still can't hear any vehicles. This trip has reminded me how much I love to be in a kayak. I enjoy the jet ski, and I'll continue to do those trips. but I feel like I'm able to be much more present in a kayak and really find a lot of gratitude for what I'm experiencing. You get to really see a lot more and experience nature a lot more personally. Coming up on the takeout right now. This is a great paddle. Every mile was earned, that's for sure. One thing about paddling wide rivers like this is that it's really difficult to gauge your progress because you're so far away from shore half the time that you don't really realize how fast you're going. And before you know it, it's over. I didn't expect a flowless river. I didn't expect however many miles of non-stop paddling. But the water always has a way of giving you things you didn't realize you wanted. So, I appreciate it if you stuck around this far. And I will catch you guys on the next one.